Hello everybody, Vic here with another video, and today we're talking Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Now this is a movie that I didn't see for a very long time. Going back to my early days as a youngin', the first Halloween movies I saw actually were Halloween's 4 and 5. They would come on AMC back to back every Halloween. And then on Halloween, of course, nighttime, you'd get the original Halloween, so I'd see bits and pieces of that, but maybe my nostalgia for parts 4 and 5 are so huge because those are the ones that were always on TV when I got home from school back then. But I never remember AMC showing Halloween 3. I never saw that, the TV version, any version. And then going to the video store and seeing the cover and seeing that it seemed to have nothing to do with Michael Myers, I always kind of put the movie off, put in the background. Didn't really consider to be a part of the Halloween series. Only until recently, the last like 5-6 years, I'll be honest. That's gonna sound crazy, but I saw bits and pieces throughout the years. But I never sat down and watched Halloween 3, I think, until I got like the Blu-ray box set, the whole Halloween box, and I was like, listen, I gotta finally sit down. Reading online, Reddit, Facebook, you see all the comments talking about Halloween 3 is underrated. For some people, it's their favorite in the franchise, which is unbelievable to me, because growing up back in the day, the original internet forums, mostly Halloween 3 got bashed. I mean, this might be a case of like Halloween or Friday 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, where a movie initially was bashed upon release. Fans didn't get it, weren't on board with it, but then over the course of the years, DVDs, new generations, a reappraisal comes through, and now Halloween 3 is very popular, very well liked amongst Halloween fans. So it's been fun for me to rewatch it over the last couple years, a couple of times, really get a feel for it, get into it, see why you guys love it so much. And yeah, I'll be honest, I'm a huge fan of Halloween 3 now. I think that it is a great Halloween seasonal film. Like the Halloween films, of course, are mostly about Michael Myers and they take place on Halloween in some cases. But in terms of the Halloween holiday, really getting to the spirit of Halloween, what Halloween's about, it's hard to find a better movie to watch seasonally for the Halloween spirit that really ties to the Halloween holiday. It's hard to find one that's more in sync with Halloween than Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. So the movie came out in 1982. Oh, actually, before I get into the video, though, of course, in the comments, let me know your thoughts complete on Halloween 3. Where do you rank in the franchise? And if you like the video, hit the thumbs up, the like button, subscribe if you have not. So yeah, the movie came out in 1982. Now, of course, we know in 1981 we had Halloween 2, a movie that I like a lot, fans like a lot, John Carpenter does not like at all, which has swayed some fans, unfortunately, on Halloween 2. Because look, John Carpenter is probably my favorite horror filmmaker, so I put a lot of merit on his words, but his criticisms of Halloween 2 never made that much sense to me, and I've never let that dissuade myself from loving Halloween 2. So I was a big fan of Halloween 2, but John Carpenter was not. And this time, when they started to think about Halloween 3, John Carpenter still had somewhat shared control of the series. Him and Irwin Yaban, and then also Mustafa Akkad, kind of a three-way sharing control of the series that time. So they really couldn't do anything without the other ones being on board. Although I believe Yaban might have actually, at that point, kind of bowed out, basically, and just let Akkad and John Carpenter kind of move forward that. And in terms of John Carpenter's relationship with the series, apparently what's been said is that at that time, he was completely done after Halloween 2, but they would basically tell him, like, hey, you still have control of the series, so we're going to make this movie, and your name's going to be attached to it, so if we make a bad movie, then your name's going to be kind of, sullied by being associated with it, so you might as well be involved to help make it a good movie. Carpenter was just adamant that, hey, there's no more Michael Myers story to tell. We finished that with Halloween 2. That's why he killed Michael Myers definitively. He killed Dr. Loomis definitively. So he wanted to go with his original idea for the Halloween franchise, which was after Part 1, if we have to do more Halloween films, let's do an anthology-style thing. Let's do kind of like Tales from the Dark Side, Tales from the Crypt, The Twilight Zone. Let's just have a movie take place on Halloween every year, have the Halloween spirit, the Halloween holiday, but have a different story, a different ongoing thing. And it's a great idea for a TV show. I don't know if it would work in terms of an actual movie franchise. On TV, of course, yeah, remember we saw, of course, Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, Are You Afraid of the Dark, Tales from the Dark Side, Tales from the Crypt. We've seen plenty of successful horror anthology shows. But in terms of like a horror movie anthology series, I don't know if that's really been a thing, because when you're making sequels to movies in the theaters, the audience kind of does want sort of a continuation of a story. So I think that format would have worked better for a TV show, but I have to respect them for trying here. I mean, like I said, Carpenter being involved meant he was just not going to revisit Michael Myers. So to have Carpenter on board, we had to do the anthology route. And now, of course, in terms of box office, Halloween 3, it made something like $14 million dollars at the box office, so it wasn't a box office hit. Um, I don't know what the advertising was like back then. I don't know if the audiences were going and thinking that it's going to have Michael Myers. You just see the title Halloween 3, and maybe that implies, oh my God, Michael Myers is back. So the box office wise, I don't know if there was just a general disappointment, like word of mouth after the first week that hey, Michael Myers is not in this movie, it's something completely different, and that just kind of killed the box office, or just the idea of again just the kind of the Halloween title attached to something more random and not like a part of the franchise. Either way, the movie made $14 million, which actually on the surface may seem like kind of a box office bomb, but people don't ever bring this up, but Halloween 4 only made like 17, $18 million. So there's a narrative that Halloween 4 was a big bounce back for the franchise, that bringing Michael Myers back, was this huge return to box office moolah, but it made just a few $1 million more than Halloween 3. So it wasn't that big of a comeback. That said, I think in terms of the title, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, that subtitle, Season of the Witch, that should include in the audiences to this is going in a completely different direction as I'm doing Michael Myers. And unfortunately, with this movie, I think that the title holds it back because this is a great Halloween film, but it should not be in the Halloween franchise. And what I mean by that is that if you would just call this movie Season of the Witch, I think it gets a lot more play over the years. I think it has a lot more buzz when it comes out. I think it's treated as not like a masterpiece by any stretch. It's not like, a great work of art by any stretch like the original Halloween. But I think it get a lot more respect and a lot more attention if it was just called Season of the Witch and really be like a true cult classic. Being tied to the Halloween franchise, but then not having Michael Myers and being such an outside force, it kind of, I think it scares off new people from watching it basically because there's people that are like, oh my goodness, Halloween 3, the Halloween franchise, I'm not watching these sequels. If it's just called Season of the Witch, just pitch the idea of like, hey, I got this fun Halloween film from the 80s, has a great concept, really takes advantage of the Halloween spirit, crazy killer Halloween costumes. If you could pitch that to somebody like a random person, like, yeah, let's watch it. But if you're like, Halloween 3, they're like, there's maybe some hesitation for them to watch that. So I think that, unfortunately, being a part of the Halloween franchise sort of held back this movie. It should have been just called Season of the Witch. But listen, Carpenter wanted to go the anthology route and wanted to try it. So it's a noteworthy film for sure. Now let's talk about the actual movie itself. What stands out about Halloween 3? From the opening scene, the score immediately jumps out. I mean, it's not quite as good as the original Halloween score, which is probably a top 5 Halloween or horror score in the history of horror movies, but this score slaps, and from the opening scene, the score dropping down gives you a real sense of urgency. Like, I don't know what the story's about, but I'm seeing this dude being chased by a random car, and I'm hearing the music, and I know something's going down, something crazy is going down. So there's a sense of urgency that it kind of engulfs the film in. That urgency never really goes away, which is great for a horror film. The boldness of the story, I think, really stands out because obviously horror sequels, horror movies, slasher, sometimes, it's paint by the numbers, formulaic, just plug in the formula, guy with the mask, terribly cliche teenagers that we don't like getting killed, final girl at the end overcomes the odds, kills the killer. We've seen that many, many times. Halloween 3 has a completely fresh idea and absolutely commits to that idea. There's no someone walking around with a knife. There's none of that. This is just purely a complete original storyline that really hasn't been replicated in any other horror film that I've seen. So the commitment to a new story and a new direction has to be commended 100%. The movie's a big mystery. There's a mystery component here. You really don't know what's going on. If you watch the movie fresh and have never heard about the movie, you didn't read the plot line, no spoilers, nothing like that. If you just, you look at the cover, you turn the movie on, it's very confusing early on. There's a mystery thriller element, not a whodunit, but just like you don't know what's going on in the plot. Really, the pieces unfold slowly as the movie goes on, but it's not really till like the last half an hour that you kind of figure out what's going on in the movie. Otherwise, there's a complete mystery that holds your attention all throughout and wants you to makes you want to watch more of it to see what the hell is going on, figure out what the plot is. So the plot is fantastic overall. So basically, we have some things have been stolen from Stonehenge, and this guy Cochran is going to be using basically microchips implanted in Halloween mask that when hearing a certain music and seeing a certain thing on TV is going to activate the microchips to destroy whoever's wearing the mask and like turn them into worms and snakes and whatever. So it's a crazy concept. It's basically Cochran being an old warlock who essentially wants to recapture the original spirit of Halloween, and his plan is more sinister than it's more damage causing than anything Michael Myers could ever do. I mean, what he's planning to do is take out the entire youth of the world, basically. So, if his plan comes to fruition, he's basically destroying the youth of the world, destroying the future of the world. So, this is a much bigger, epic, grand plan, a bigger scale story than anything in the Michael Myers universe. So, that itself is pretty interesting. And the actor who plays Cochran does a great job. I think Cochran, if you had continued Halloween 3, if it was just called Season of the Witch, I think it would have gotten a sequel. Again, I think it would have made more money. I think Season of the Witch itself could have been a franchise, and you could have just continued on with Season of the Witch Part 2, Part 3, and Cochran would have been a great bad guy to bring back. He would have been maybe a horror icon type villain like the Tall Man if you kept bringing him back, because the actor does a great job, and it's not that it's wasted, but this movie needs more expansion. And I'm gonna say one of the weak points of the movie is just that I think it needs more. Like the story's so vast, there's so much complexity with what's going on that I think that the movie needs another 15, 20 minutes. It ends pretty suddenly. It's not it's typical 90, 95-minute movie, but it's kind of like I need more exploration of the story. I need more on it. I mean, this story could be turned into a TV show. You could do a 10-episode TV show and really dig into this story more and get more out of it, in my opinion. So I kind of feel like the movie ends so suddenly that I don't get the full what I'm wanting to get out the story. Once the story's revealed, I'm like, man, can we dig upon this and get in depth as much as possible, get more story? Again, maybe there was plans for a sequel. I think Tommy Wallace, the director, said that there was at a point a plan for a sequel, or at least he had a script or an idea in mind, but it never really materialized. But this movie does leave you wanting more, and I guess maybe for some people that is a good thing, just leaving you wanting more, leaving you asking questions and want to know what happened. Okay, let's talk about also probably the most memorable thing in the movie, I think, that stands out. Not the score, but the damn Silver Shamrock theme song. That music that comes on in the commercials when the kids are watching on TV. I think that's the long-lasting takeaway that people really think about when they think about the movie, is that damn song and how much it just stays in your head when you hear it. That happy Halloween. Oh my God, I don't want to sing it or think about it because it just stays in my head like a 90s pop song. I mean, I don't understand how they came up with that, but that really stands out. And it stands out because it's like you can see where that would be like something that would appeal to kids, but then there's something creepy about it. There's something like off about it. You're like, oh, if this song, ended up being the precursor to the entire youth being destroyed, I kind of get it. I kind of understand. So there's something creepy about that song, but I think that's kind of what stands out. It's whoever came up with that, brilliant job, because that thing just stays in the head for sure. The death scenes here are wild, are crazy. Again, with Michael Myers, I love old Michael, but him walking around with a knife, those death scenes can become mundane and repetitive and redundant in a way. And the death scenes here, from the very first thing where they come in the hospital and he reaches down and just like squeezes the guy's eyes out. I mean, I'm like, what the hell? This is vicious, disturbing, cruel. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason why the deaths here have to be so over the top and cruel. Like the homeless guy, they just take his head, rip his head off. Like, what the hell? Like, the deaths are like very violent, over the top, and just very well done in terms of the makeup effects and everything like that. So the death scenes, I think, probably here are better than almost the entire Halloween franchise. So, because they're just like so over the top and so vicious. Like, damn, like every death's like, man, that had to hurt. Goodness. So even if you're just like a fan of makeup effects and like cool death scenes, you'll get a kick out of that for sure. All right, let's talk about the characters for a second. We have Tom Atkins, the ultimate ladies' man from the 80s. If you see him on screen, he's guaranteed to be in bed with his female co-star within 10 minutes of screen time. Uh, he's playing Chalice, a doctor who does not seem to be the best husband or father in the world. Um, but I gotta say, it's an interesting choice the way they write this character because Chalice, his motivations throughout the movie are a little bit unclear because it does seem like he cares about what happened at the hospital when the guy's eyes get ripped out and dude sets on fire and all that stuff. It's like kind of like he's caring about that, but then but once he meets Stacey Nelkin's character, it seems like he wants to help her, but he also wants to sleep with her. So his motivation's kind of split in two. And it's like his whole plan is to go there and get a hotel room. He's the one that brings up this whole idea. He brings a 6 pack of beer, so it's like kind of like a flawed hero because it's not to the last like sort of maybe 30 minutes where you kind of get a sense that he really cares about the entire plan and everything going on and saving everything. But then it kind of switches from him caring about the girl to then being more concerned about, oh my goodness, yeah, that's right, I have kids. I have kids. They have the Shamrock Mats. They're going to watch this commercial. He kind of remembers that at the end. And then we get that crazy Invasion of the Body Snatchers style ending. The ending that, now, that ending is interesting because the studio had told Carpenter, like, hey, can we get more closure on the ending? Can we get an ending where we know if the good guy succeeded, if the plan was thwarted? But the director, Tom Lee Wallace, he was like adamant, like, hey, I want to do the Invasion of Body Snatchers. I want to do the vague ending of just like, we don't know what happened. We don't know if the good guys prevailed or if that last TV station still played the commercial. We don't know. He wanted to go with the ending, and Carpenter told him, like, hey, let's stick to our guns and go with the ending you want. So, but the studio thought the ending was too harsh, and I I find that the ending is, it's not too harsh. I understand having like kind of that crazy ending where you don't know what happened, but I would say that I would like the ending more if there was like a sequel or a continuation of the story. Knowing that that's going to be it for this entire universe, that's it for this world, I would have preferred maybe a more clean ending with some closure because you just don't know what happened after this. So for me, it's one of those things where it's not like a big flaw in the movie. I mean, I'm talking about how to fix Halloween 3, but I think it's a good movie and there's only minor things I would do that would make it more enjoyable for me, but I probably would have a more clean ending. I know that some people love this kind of ending and I get that completely, but I don't know. I kind of, in hindsight, want some more closure with what happened there. I kind of feel the same way about the end of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. As cool as it is to see Donald Sutherland's character do that at the end, and how jarring it is, I kind of still want more closure and finality after spending an hour and a half or 2 hours with the character. Quick fix for me: the character Ellie, who I end up feeling bad about what happens to her, and she just wants to find out what happened to her father, and she enlists the help of Chalice, and they go to this town, and she's very determined to just find out, get some closure with what happened to her father. I think where she messes up is when they're at the factory, and they're walking away, and Chalice knows they're being watched, so he just wants to get the hell out of there. But she sees her father's car, and she immediately walks up to the bad guys, basically. That kind of exposes them in a way where I think Cochran makes a decision right there that he's going to kidnap Ellie, kill her, kill Chalice, all that. So if they just walked cleanly away from the factory, because they were just playing along at that point, they weren't indicating that they were doing anything in terms of investigation. But her reaction to the car and running up there and Cochran staring down at them, I think that kind of sealed their fate in a bad way. That said, Ellie gets kidnapped from the hotel room, and I'm assuming almost immediately when kidnapped, gets taken, killed, turned into an android, whatever it is that happens to her. I you know I know they had to go with obviously Tom Atkins is our main actor here and all that, but between the two of them, I would have had Tom Atkins get turned into a clone or an android, and I would have had Ellie survive because Ellie at least is there with the more noble intention of trying to avenge her father and find out what's going on there. I feel bad about what happens to her and this Halloween franchise has a very short list of sympathetic characters. Not a lot of sympathetic characters in this franchise at all. Usually a lot of the characters who get killed in this franchise are like, well, oh, let's move on. No real feelings for her, but I feel bad for Ellie, and I feel like don't turn her into a robot. Just give us either a clean kill for her or have her survive. Have her be the one who's still left at the end. Have the surprise thing be that Chalice is the one that gets killed. Because, I mean, I don't know. But I would probably make that a quick fix for me. But that's basically all I have to say about Halloween 3. I mean, it's a movie that I rank pretty high in the franchise. I think it's so different from the other movies. It's hard to actually put it in the ranking. Like I said, this movie kind of benefits almost from just like not including in the Halloween franchise. Like how do you compare this to like Halloween 4 or Halloween 5 and say which is a better movie? It's two different things with different intentions. This one's not even a slasher film, so it's a whole different thing. But I respect the movie a lot, and the storyline, like I said, is just very cool to do something with Halloween mask and the exploration of like a factory that makes Halloween mask. And I also like road movies, so I like the idea of characters getting in a car and going to a small, weird town. So that appeals to me a lot. I don't know, for some reason, this movie feels like They Live to me a little bit as well. It gives me a They Live feel for some reason. So I'm a huge fan of Halloween 3. So again, let me know in the comments what you think about the movie. Is there anything that you would improve upon or fix with the movie? And would you like to see a sequel to Halloween 3? Because I think that there's still a lot to explore there, but I just don't think they would ever do it. I don't think they would have the audience to really go back and revisit it. Maybe a fan film on YouTube. I mean, something, but there's a lot more of the story you could explore, but I just don't think it has a big enough following for them to actually take it serious and do something with Season of the Witch. But anyways, that's all I got on Halloween 3, and until next time, you guys take care.